of time. Join new friends to relax and unwind. The best food with drinks on the side. Cheers to the good times. Eat friends and mimosas.
Call yourself talent, Louisiana talent?
I mean, it's an interesting question. I don't think I would call it that because I still it's almost kind of weird, the whole people recognizing you and you're TikTok famous and stuff, but I would just say creative. You know, when you get into that realm, there are influencers, I guess is probably another buzzword, but I guess that's still kind of weird to me too, because while I feel like, yes, there's lots, anytime that you're on a screen and there are people that watch, there is a bit of influence that goes there, but with that comes responsibility, right? So I feel like I don't want to say that I'm an influencer. That's why I choose the creator aspect, because I create and I have fun, and honestly I do it for me, but I do understand that there's some influence and things like that that go with it, but I don't know.
Okay, so how long has it been since you started?
So like a lot of people that have been around, I started during COVID.
Oh, okay.
So the funny thing is, we have a 16-year-old daughter. So for a long time, it was Musical.ly. And we would be in Walmart. Ashlyn would put her camera up against a box of mac and cheese, and she'd be doing her little dances, and I would just be shaking my head. It's like, whatever, and keep on going. So for the longest time, I thought it was kind of silly. It was a kid's app. Everybody was dancing. Then it turned into TikTok. Still thought it was the same thing. One day, when the lockdown was here, we used to go and sit in the driveway and drink wine or just hang out because the weather was beautiful. We couldn't really go anywhere. Well, one day we're just sitting there. She's laughing and cackling and carrying on. I'm like, what are you laughing at, woman? She's like, oh, well, Ashlyn convinced me to download TikTok, and it's pretty funny. So I grab her phone, I start flipping through, and I'm like, well, I can do some of that stuff because here it is. I'm thinking it's just a dancing app. I'm like, I can do some of that stuff because I'm kind of witty and funny. So I downloaded it. I decided, hey, let's do a video. So we kind of started looking at some of the videos that, you know, old people were doing. And the very first video I did was this. So we work out and stuff, and we do a lot of, so they had like this body weight thing where we were holding each other up, just kind of showing a little bit of strength and balance. And it wasn't really that hard. It was just kind of like, we did it, and that was it. Turn the phone off. We go inside. She starts cooking dinner. Ashlyn comes running in. She was like, Dad, your video has 500 views or something. So I was like, okay. I didn't really understand exactly what that meant. She comes back in a little while later. She's like, Dad, you're like at 1,500 views. And I was like, okay. Then it was like 5,000, and then 10,000, and next thing you know, it was 80,000 views on my very first video.
Wow.
And then I was like, well, wait a minute. If she's freaking out about this, and I did this on one video, I was like, maybe we can just have some fun with this. And that's just really kind of how it started. So then every once in a while I do another one, and granted, my views went way down after that. It was kind of like a shot in the dark. But it wasn't until a few months later, we had some hurricanes. So I don't know if you remember way back then, there was a stretch where it was like hurricane after hurricane after hurricane. And I was doing things that I knew about because we grew up here. And it was unbelievable how much interaction I got from people who either agreed with everything that I was saying because they've been through it a million times, or people from other parts of the country that were fascinated with, oh, I never thought about that. So then it kind of started to get a little traction. Well, when it really started to blow up was I said some things kind of like Cajun French that I didn't realize that I was actually saying. So some people would say, hey, what does such and such mean?
Thank you.
And I was like, why would they be asking me that? So I'd go back to the video and realize, oh, I did say that. So then I started answering people's questions about what I was saying and what we were doing, and it just spread like wildfire and just never slowed down.
Wow. Where are you from? Are you originally from?
I was born and raised in Louisville. Yep. My mom's side, my mom's parents are from Kaplan, Louisiana. So it's like
Kaplan?
It's kind of towards Lafayette in that area. So it's kind of like the Cajun capital of the world.
So you consider yourself Cajun, I guess.
Yeah, like my grandparents, my mom's mom and dad spoke Cajun French all the time when we were growing up.
Do you speak Cajun?
Very little, and it's kind of upsetting because had I known now what I knew back then, I would have paid more attention and cared more about it.
Yeah.
And I wish they were still around to see what I'm doing, like kind of helping, because it's almost like a dying language. It's not really that prevalent anymore. The part that's been fun for me is I've met a lot of amazing people, you know, being Louisiana creators, and we kind of, in the beginning, before anybody like really blew up, when we were just on there and we were kind of doing some things, and probably the biggest one might have had 20 or 30,000 followers, we would kind of pick each other's brains, or hey, I saw you did this, like what's the deal? So I became friends with a lot of those guys and gals.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of, and then.
That's awesome to know that it's not like a competition. You know, you
Well, I
can
can't
help
speak for everybody.
Oh.
'Cause there has been a couple, and y'all know who y'all are. It's all good. I mean, to each their own. I just don't talk to those people anymore. It's just one of those things. But it's whatever. And the thing that blows my mind is it's such a big space, and no one is doing anything original. Not one single person. If you think about, even if whether you're doing comedy, dancing, music, whatever it is, you are not the first person to be a comedian, dancing,
Right.
or anything. So for people to get butthurt about a lot of things is kind of, you know, I don't know. It is what
Do
it
you
is.
think it's a little bit of luck, or?
It's a lot of bit of luck, but it's also in the way that you present it. So like what a lot of people will talk about as being shadow banned, or, you know, oh, well, my views went down. And a lot of times it's because the content is just not the greatest. And I speak for myself. I'm not speaking about everybody else, although you can kind of take what you will with that. But there's a lot of videos that I do that don't really blow up because I know the content's not the greatest, and it's kind of very specific to a lot of South Louisiana people. So if other people see it on their For You page and it doesn't resonate with them, they're going to scroll by. So when the algorithm sees you just watch my video for 2 seconds and you scroll by, well, TikTok thinks that it's not that good, so they're not going to share it with a lot of people. So I don't know. I think a lot of people, instead of talking trash about the platform, maybe they should kind of look into some of their content, because it's not always the greatest.
Do you make your own content? Do they help you? How does that work?
It's 99% me. Every once in a while, my daughter will do something stupid, and I think it's hilarious. So like, okay, hold on, we're gonna capture this. So hold on, pull up my phone. I'm like, say what you just said again. And she'll look at me.
Some of my favorite ones are with your daughter.
You're a soccer coach also?
Yep.
Is it for her team?
Yeah, it's for her team. Yeah, I've played since I was little, and then once I've had a couple of injuries and my kids started playing soccer, and then I just kind of transitioned to that. And so I've been coaching for probably 20 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah,
You follow her, like as she goes, you get to...
Well, it started with my son. I started coaching him. I have an older son who's...
I always thought it was just her. So
Well, no.
you have another child.
He's 28. He's married. He's moved out of the house, and that's why when most people, because he's 28 years old, and I've only been doing this for 3 or 4 years, so they don't really know Tyler because he moved away.
Grown man.
Yeah, he's a grown man.
Now, I did see a video where someone was singing a gorgeous voice.
That's my daughter-in-law.
Okay, so that, I thought you said daughter-in-law, but then I was confused because I always see Ashley.
Yeah. So very interesting story, very cool story. Tyler met her, Callie is her name, met her in Nashville. She's from Tennessee area. Her parents live in Culleoka, which is an hour south of Nashville. Her dad, and I joke about this, but I'm kind of serious. He's kind of like the Elvis Presley of gospel music.
Oh, wow.
If you're into like gospel Christian music, then you will know who David Phelps is. And he is an absolute amazing singer. It's ridiculous. So they just kind of got together, they hit it off, they fell in love, they got married. So they both work for him. They go on tour with him. She sings, she does they both do some of their social media. He does like some of the grip work and all that fun stuff.
Does he sing, or he's just behind the scenes?
He sings, but he don't sing. Like we all sing, but we don't sing. It's another thing I'm picky about my Buddha.
Okay, where's Best Stop? Because I heard you say
It's in Scott, Louisiana.
Okay.
Which is a little bit west of Lafayette.
And they have the best?
Well, way back in the day, it was the only one that I knew.
Okay.
Because they've been there forever. And then just through a bunch of videos and everything else, and then we've tried some other ones, and people always, it's the same thing as the gumbo. People are very passionate about that. They either like Best Stop or they don't. They either like Billy's or they don't. So it's like all these different ones, and people will get so upset about the fact that like the Best Stop is trash. What's wrong with your taste buds? Like, how can you even say that? My tongue.
Everybody's taste is different.
Yeah.
And they're in business for how long? For a reason, right?
Exactly. Now, I'm open to all boudin because I love boudin.
Yeah.
But if you put them all out in front of me and say pick one, well, it's gonna be Best Stop.
The first time you were ever noticed, do you remember the day?
That's a good question.
Give me of a time.
I don't know if I
I don't know
remember.
if it was the first time.
No, yeah, the wife came talk to me, but it was the husband that noticed me, and the husband was a fan, quote unquote. She was like, yeah, she was calling his ass out. She was like, oh yeah, he noticed you, but he didn't want to come talk to you, so I'm coming to talk to you. I was like, man, it's a normal guy like you. So he came over, shook my hand. That is a funny one.
I wonder though, is it hard for men to be fans of another man?
I think that's actually a good point.
Yeah,
It's very interesting that you just said that. I think just because of the whole manly thing, right?
They don't want to be like, oh,
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. Yeah. I had one interaction with a guy I thought was absolutely amazing. We were at Taco Del Cartel in Kenner, and we had just sat down, we were eating, and I made eye contact with this little young guy that was at the, I could tell sometimes they kind of recognize whatever, but he never said anything, so I didn't say anything. We enjoyed our dinner, we got up and we left. Later on that day, I got a message from him saying, hey, I saw you at Taco Del Cartel, whatever, I just wanted to tell you hi or whatever. And I was like, well, why didn't you come and say hi? And bless his heart, he said, well, I figured you were just sitting there with your wife and it didn't want to disturb you. So I'm like, how can you, not, that was just incredible. Because a lot of people wouldn't do
Don't
that.
care.
right.
And again, I don't mind. We've had people come up to us while we're sitting. It's not a big deal, but I just thought that was very.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And does she get recognized by herself? And how does she does she enjoy that? Or does she wish?
Well, she's like a typical teenage girl. She's like, oh my God. But she loves every bit of it. Don't let her fool you. She loves every bit of it. Yeah. If I hear one more person say, and I'm like, you lie.
She loves it.
She loves it. Yeah.
What are you doing different to help with your videos from your first time you ever posted till now? Has anything changed?
So TikTok has this thing, it's called On This Day, where on this day a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it'll pop up on my feed, and that way I can look at it and you can repost it. And it'll say on this day, whatever today's date is, 2020. And I'll see some of those and I refuse to post them. I should post them because it's so kind of like cringy.
Wow.
Like I guess just the way that my videos have grown and they're just more fluid. I almost think like, how the hell did anybody even like this stuff? I want to follow me, but it's part of the process. And part of the thing that I'm proud of is that as I have I guess for lack of better terms, the gift of gab. Like I like to talk to people. I'm a coach. I like to teach people things. So for me, it's fun. But just to kind of go from where I used to be to where I am now and see that growth and see things that worked and didn't work and just kind of evolving through that is really just kind of being a student myself and just kind of learning. So there was a point during the hurricane where I felt a lot of obligation for things. And I felt like people were so just involved in my journey. And because like I said, we had lost my house and we had done a bunch of fundraising and people had a million questions. So, I felt that I had to update them once or twice a day. And it got to the point where I was so stressed out and I just couldn't take it anymore that I had to take a break. And what that taught me was I needed to get back to doing it for me, which is where I originally started, and not so much for the people, because ultimately when I do it for myself and I enjoy it and I put out good content, then I am in turn doing it for you. If that makes sense. So I found that there wasn't a lot of time for me to do a lot of stuff. So I still enjoy doing the TikToks. So I had to put a pause on the podcast because the podcast takes way more time. Number one, most of them are an hour long. So you have to at least commit an hour. Then you got to find the guests, you got to book the guests, you got to bring them to your house, you got to, and I like to plan and know, so if I'm having you over, I want to know a little bit about you before you get there, so we can have a conversation and you can know what we're going to be talking about. So there's a lot that goes into it. Then once you do it all, then I've got to edit it, I've got to post it, and I got to do a little bit of promotion for it. It's a lot of work. So I had to take a time out and put that on the back burner. So I tried to start it back up about a month or two ago. I had a couple guests lined up, and they want to kind of cancel it for some other things last minute. So I was like, well, I'll start next week. Got them back on, and some things happened, and like I had to cancel, and then it was like, oh shit. Well, I'm just gonna wait.
Let me just put this out there.
Okay.
Whenever you want to have friends and mimosas on,
We did. Look, I'm 100% about it, because for me, it's so my podcast is about just things that I love.
Right.
For a while, I was doing a lot of local businesses because I'm just fascinated with that, and I wanted to talk to people. Sometimes it's just a matter of me and the boys, we go play golf and we want to have a beer after, so we go and we'll go to a store and buy a bunch of different beers and just taste the beers. Like, and then we'll, kind of like y'all are doing here, just talk about the beers and just bullshit, just hanging around a campfire. You're just documenting what you would normally do if you were all just hanging out. So all that to say, I think it's fantastic what you guys are doing. It's a great idea. It's a great concept. So I would 100% have y'all on a weekend chat.
Where does it go from here? Like, would you guys do reality TV?
Or I don't think so. I mean, I don't know where it goes from here. I don't have any plans for anything. I'm open to lots of things. So
But not that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do.
how long did it take from your first video to get, how many followers?
I'm almost 400,000.
Okay, how long did that take where you got your, I don't know.
I don't know. There was
big
one.
start,
There was one point where before I really blew up.
Yeah.
That I did a couple of videos that just weirdly kind of took off, and I was getting around 5,000 to 20,000 followers a day. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what happened. And I'm talking. I went from 1,000 to 15,000 to 25,000. I started doing videos of like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Look at this, 25,000 followers. And then
I think I saw that.
by the time I got to like 50,000, it would come so fast that I would miss it. So I wasn't even able to get on my phone and take a screenshot of 50K. I'm like, well shit, I'm at 52,000, but what the hell? And then it got to 100,000.
How long did it take you to get there? Years, months?
No, I mean, it would probably happen within the first year. And then at that point right now where things are kind of like this. And I've said this before, and I swear I mean this. I don't really care if I never get another follower, because I appreciate the following that I have, because they're so positive and peaceful, and there's a lot of good interaction. I am blessed that I don't have a bunch of knuckleheads that are constantly beating down my door. Yeah. Now, I do have some. I do have some. I usually try to just either kill them with kindness, or I just completely ignore it. I don't go to battle with them. Like, if they'll say some stuff, and some people are just complete morons. It just blows my mind that you being on the other side of that phone, you thinks that you have like this. Right. But like I said, thankfully it has been, if I get 100 comments, 99 of them are good, and I have that one knucklehead.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like people who think that their opinion is like factual and 100% correct.
Yeah.
It's like,
and
it's an
I'm
opinion.
okay
We all
with,
have one.
And I'm okay with the negative comments. Like, if I say something about my gumbo or my Buddha, and people kind of talk a little smack about, oh, that's disgusting, I don't know why you would do that, I'm okay with that. As long as you don't become like this idiot, and you threaten to kill my family because I put my gumbo in I'm a potato salad in my gumbo.
Who's the Couillon Club? Who does
The Couillon crew?
Who does that consist of?
So that's very interesting. That's one of those things that kind of just happened. So when I talked a little bit earlier, people would ask me about, well, what does so-and-so mean? What does that mean? And because I would say some things in Cajun French, like couillon. And I'm like, what are they talking about? And I have to go back, watch the video, and say, oh, I did say that. Well, one of them was couillon. I called I take it back. Let me back up even further. When I was doing some of the 25K and 50,000, I started calling them 50,000 couillons actually are following me. Like, I don't even know. And people would say, well, what does that mean? I was like, well, what does what mean? And then I do another one, and then people will start saying, you got another couillon here. This couillon's following you. I'm part of the couillon crew. I was like, what are they doing? Like, what the hell? So then...
So is that how the Hey Couillon
It is. So
catchphrase came about?
The next step, what happened was people started identifying themselves as couillons, which I loved. And then people started like asking questions about other stuff. Well, what about this? What about this? So when I would do the response videos to them, to their comment, I would say, hey, couillon, because he's already identified himself as a couillon. And then another one would say, hey, fellow couillon here, what about this? And then I'd say, oh, hey, couillon, to answer his question. And then it just became this whole hey, couillon thing. So then people started asking about merch and all this stuff. That's where I made the hats and made the shirts and all that. That became a thing, but, boy, that's a lot. When you take on designing and
well, now you have golf shirts.
I do.
Coming out with,
I do have a lot of collaboration opportunities with other companies and stuff. So I'm a big golfer, and one of the guys that I met through this whole thing owns a golf shirt company, and he wanted to do like a Louisiana type of collaboration. So,
Well, do you want to plug that? Tell everyone where to
yeah,
get
so you
your
can
merch?
go to Chippopotamus.
Okay.
Chippopotamus is his website. It's like chippopotamus.com, I think. And you can find the Swing South shirt. It's black and gold. It's got all the little things for Louisiana, like alligators, crawfish, fleur-de-lis.
It's so nice.
It really, I was beyond pleased with how it came out.
Really.
Or are you coming out with different colors?
So I did a black and gold one for obvious reasons.
Right.
And I did another one that's blue and yellow, which is the Louisiana flag.
Right.
That one we're going to release in the spring. So we're just doing this one right now.
So we usually do a little game after. We usually do Would You Rather, but I think y'all had an anniversary just passed, correct?
Happy anniversary!
So I think the Not-So-Newlywed Game would be best.
Yes.
All right.
How long have y'all been married?
19 years.
Yeah.
20.
Yep. Next year will be our 20th.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
What's your love story? How'd you meet and fall in love?
Well,
That's funny.
yeah, it's funny. So a buddy of mine, a guy that I used to work with, he's a knucklehead, but I love him to death, was actually her cousin. And he used to always, he's still, it's weird. I don't know why I said it. He always used to
You just owned them after meeting him, right?
He always used to say, oh, you got to meet my cousin, you got to meet my cousin. Well, like I said, he's a bit of a ding dong, so I'm like, no, I'm telling you. I was like, oh, whatever. So one day, I'm going to try to give you the shorter version. One day, he says, hey, we're all going out to the dock. I don't know if y'all remember the dock. It used to be like on the lakefront way back in the day. Ain't there no more, another one of those. He was like, we're all going to the dock. And I was like, well, it just so happens that me and my buddies, we're going there too. He's like, great, I'm going to introduce you to my cousin. And I was like, look, don't tell her that I'm coming. Don't set none of that up. I'll just meet her. Because in my brain, I'm just thinking, I was wasn't going to be my type.
Not what you was expecting.
No. So funny thing was when I got there, I ran into him. His name's Gary. He bought me a beer. He was like, let me introduce you to my wife. So he introduced me to his wife, Julie, and Nicole. And we just kind of talking or whatever, and then we kind of walk away. So later on, he comes up to me and says, hey, what'd you think about my cousin? I was like, I don't know, where is she? He's like, man, you just met her. I said, where? He said, I just introduced you to Julie and Nicole. That's my cousin. I'm like, that's your cousin? That's the God's honest truth. So from then on, it was just kind of, it didn't happen right away, but a little bit later on down the road, we wound up talking and hanging out, and we had mutual friends where we kind of connected again. And then once that happened, I was like, well, I'm not letting her go this time. So. And that was it. Yeah.
Okay, this is yours.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Here we go.
If your house was on fire, what is the one thing your spouse would grab before leaving the house?
Oh, geez.
Is it a material thing or like a person? It doesn't matter.
Anything.
She's not gonna say this, but it's gonna be pretty true and funny.
What would you have said?
I would have said Ashley.
Okay.
I didn't realize we were talking about.
Well, she said whatever, anything.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even save my own kids.
The wine.
I mean, I was trying to grab that too. Think about more.
Yeah, guy's mentality.
Well, what do you think she
What do
said?
you think she said?
That I would grab my golf clubs.
Yeah, you see, I messed this up.
Oh.
First one I messed up because I put Ashley. I'm like, oh my God, Ashley.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
messed that up. I'm sorry.
See, but no, but you see, you thought he would say his
Yeah.
daughter, and look, he didn't.
I know.
Sorry.
Ashley's 16. She better come on, right?
Girl, you better get your ass up. It's time to
She's
go.
gonna be out before y'all.
If your partner used one word to describe you, what would it be?
For lack of a better term, she's a keep to herself.
Keep to yourself first.
Yeah.
A loner?
A loner. Yeah, that's a good one.
Do I have to tell you my answer? Yeah. I put anxious, so I guess that would be.
There you go.
I think that's kind of
we can marry
the same
those.
realm.
Yeah.
We can put those together.
So what do you think?
So what I think he put about him, I would say probably outgoing.
Yeah, I put personable.
We have a match. We have a match.
We have a
Now we
match.
get it. Now we get it.
Okay, Heather, what adjective describes your partner's family?
Your partner's family?
I can only imagine what he's saying about that.
She might get this one right.
Where are you from, Nicole? Are you from Luling?
No, I'm from Miami.
Okay.
I would say that she would describe my family as like open and loving,
Oh.
Put kind.
kind.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay.
How did I describe yours?
Oh, loud.
Or crazy? But a good crazy, because we all love them.
Yeah.
That's in Wagman.
Facts.
Yeah.
Would you cast to play your spouse in a movie?
I'm going to say Ryan Reynolds. She likes Ryan Reynolds.
I put Brad Pitt.
Nice.
Fair. I'll take that as a
We'll take that one.
Yeah, I've been called way worse.
Okay.
All right, so
I have no idea.
who do I joke about being my girlfriend?
Cindy Crawford.
That's it.
What is your spouse's most irritating habit?
You gotta guess what I put.
That's my most irritating habit? Either two things. Either I'm a think for myselfer or I don't listen.
No, it's not one.
Oh, Jesus.
Whistling.
Oh, that.
What did
Whistling.
So annoying.
Yeah.
He just walks around whistling.
What?
It's a habit.
Like,
No, it's
Yeah,
not like
and
a normal
it's
whistle.
kind of low.
It's not
and
a
I'm just
normal
like,
whistle.
because I love music, so anytime I hear something, if I don't feel like singing it, I'll just kind of whistle it
But
or
it's
hum
like
it.
this through his teeth.
We gotta get a little. We gotta get a little.
Like I just,
Oh my word.
It gets
that
kind
kind
of
of
high pitched. I'm like, can you stop?
yeah. I'm like, really? You mad at me because I'm whistling right now?
I'm like, so what do I do that irritates you? I don't know. I would think maybe an overthinker or a worrier.
Oh, that would have been a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
That's what I'm saying. That I kind of took the easy way out, and I know this is kind of a cop out, but I put that I don't care enough because I don't really get irritated with anything that she does because she doesn't really irritate me.
Sorry that you're whistling.
Right?
Yeah.
If a genie comes down today and grants you 3 wishes, what would they be?
I think the easiest one is, I'd ask for a gazillion dollars. That way we just don't have to worry about anything and we can do anything and everything we want all the time and support all of our friends and family. They can tag along and do everything with us. I would say the second one was to get somebody to always cook for us, but I guess if I had the first one, all the money, I could pay somebody to do it.
That's true.
She wouldn't enjoy the food as much as your wife's.
That's probably true. I guess I'd have to be very selective on who the chef is. And this one's kind of like an interesting one. I would almost want to not lose our loved ones, but then you kind of get into this weird realm where how do you grow old? I'd overthink this way too much, but then what happens? So like, are you to stay that way forever for 100 years?
I like it. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Man, you just made us all get real deep and quiet.
Like
Yeah, I think that would be the 3 wishes. The second one was the chef thing, but even though I could really
So
pay for it.
wealthy, have a personal chef, and everyone live.
So wealth, health, and happiness.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Cheers to that.
Yes.
We hope you get them.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Cheers to new friends.
Yeah, definitely. Thank y'all for having us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.